Hello and welcome to the sneak peek video of the soon-to-be released LEMSS Endpoint Management and Security Suite version 7.2 or LEMSS 7.2. My name is Chris Merritt and I'll be joined by David Murray and Russ Ernst from Product Management to discuss the new features and capabilities in LEMSS 7.2. Very briefly, we'll be looking at the new intelligent whitelisting features in the Application Control and Antivirus modules, which further enhance the ease of use and performance of our next generation whitelisting solution. We'll also talk about the changes in patch and remediation, which provide new patching content and improved performance, and thereby optimizing the time and effort spent on remediation. Along the way, we'll highlight many other areas where significant enhancements have been made to LEMSS. So let's get started with David on the Application Control module.
Thanks, Chris. So I'm going to demonstrate some of the new features in 7.2, but first I'm going to give you an overview of a couple of the key features, starting with the LEMSS Endpoint Integrity Service integration. This is a really exciting development. We've been working on the LEMSS Endpoint Integrity Service and the Application Control feature. These have been developed in parallel over the past while, and we've now got to connect these up and bring a lot of powerful information from the Endpoint Integrity Service into Application Control and specifically into the application library. So on the slide, I'm showing you here the workflow associated with this. So we initially, in step one, we send the file hashes up to the Endpoint Integrity Service. If those files are known, it sends back a verification rating. That verification rating is then displayed in the application library, and also we have a dashboard widget on the home page which gets updated. So what is this verification rating? What we display is a trust rating, a confidence level that the file is what it claims to be. We'll see that a little more in the demo shortly. The real benefit this brings to the administrator is it significantly reduces the overhead with managing the application library. Moving on to the next feature I want to talk about is local authorization. Here on this slide, you will see the dialog that gets presented to the end user when an application is presented for authorization. So this feature provides a flexible application authorization, allowing the end user to authorize applications on the fly, and really it ensures that productivity isn't being impacted, but still you have the visibility from an administrator perspective regarding what applications are being authorized by end users on the desktop. So what this does is it provides a third enforcement mode to ease the transition from audit to blocking. We have a non-blocking mode, Easy Auditor, and we have a blocking mode, which is Lockdown. But with local authorization now, you have this stepping stone between the two, whereby users get the opportunity to authorize applications that would have been otherwise blocked. So that's quite comforting in terms of making that transition. The other benefit for administrators while they're evaluating application control is the local authorization dialog provides immediate validation on test endpoints of applications which would have been blocked if locked down. So that again is quite powerful in that you can immediately see if you've performed an action, you get the dialog and you understand why that dialog is being presented, and you can set your policies up to adjust so you're not receiving that dialog in the future. Now let's go and take a look at the console and see these features in action. So I'm going to start here on the home page, and here you'll see the application library file assessment dashboard widget. So this gives you an at-a-glance view of the files which have been assessed by the Lumention Endpoint Integrity Service. You can see that we have had 283,000 files assessed. Of those, 80% of those have been rated as high by Lumention Endpoint Integrity Service. A smaller number have been rated as medium or low. There are a number still that have not been identified and came back as unknown. So if we go into the application library itself to take a look at these in a little more detail, what you'll see is this verification column. And the verification column can be one of a number of states. It could be high, it could be medium or low. And this is, as I've said already, this is a confidence that the file is what it claims to be. So in terms of best practices, here I can see for this application, I've got a lot of highs. As I scroll down, I'll probably find a few unknowns and so on. In terms of best practices, I can filter here by the different states. So I could filter by unknown, and I then could start to make assessment decisions on those files. So a reduced set of files that I've got to consider, given that 80% of the files were known. So I can start with the unknown files. I would then move to the files that were rated as low, and then move on to the mediums. Other features we've got in the application library to assist the administrator. We've got features like drag and drop and select all across multiple pages. So in this case, I've got an application called VLC. I've got 852 files. I can go and select all of those files, and I can simply drag them into the video LAN container that I've created here, and I can then authorize or deny all of those files in one go. Okay, so moving on then to talk about local authorization. So as I've already mentioned, as an end user, I will receive this dialog which indicates that there's an application which would have been blocked, but now I get the opportunity to authorize or deny that application. I've got a checkbox here which I can check to say always apply this selection for this application. If I do that, I won't receive this dialog again. Again, I've got the integration with the Lumention Endpoint Integrity Service to give me some additional information to help me make a decision on that file. On the console, I can then go to the application event logs, and I can create a query for the files executed, all applications executed by local authorization. I could create that as a daily query and get an email notification sent to me. And that's going to really help me set up my policies. I get this email notification on a daily basis for any files which have been locally authorized. Perhaps these applications should be authorized for all users, or maybe they should be denied applications. Over time, as I get greater stability, I can possibly reduce this to a weekly email notification.
Okay, David, let's talk about antivirus.
So for antivirus, we have introduced better granularity for our antivirus policies. And we now provide the ability to conduct antivirus scans with different policy settings on different schedules. So for example, we have the ability to have a light daily scan and also a more thorough scan at the weekend. So it allows us to balance productivity and security. Somewhat linked to this, we have a CPU throttling feature now in the product, and that provides the flexibility to balance CPU usage with the productivity needs. So for example, if we were going to conduct that thorough weekly scan at the weekend when there weren't any users present, we might select a higher CPU utilization level versus the daily scan while the users are present. We might throttle that back a bit. So let's take a look at the console to see how we would do that. So here we are on the LEMSS homepage. and I'm going to manage the antivirus policies and create a recurring virus and malware scan. In this case, I'll create a weekly scan, which is going to run once a week on Sunday, and this one's going to be a more thorough scan, so I'll turn on the most thorough settings, and I'll adjust the CPU to the high CPU utilization level. So that's going to provide a lot of benefit and flexibility to customers. That's one of the key features we've introduced for antivirus in 7.2. Now back to you, Chris.
Anything else new in LEMSS 7.2 that you'd like to highlight before we close this up?
Yes, Chris. We've implemented a large number of enhancements under the hood that users will really notice via better user experience, improved performance, and greater stability, all of which are aimed at keeping endpoints secure and reducing the management burden.
Great, thanks, David. Now I'm going to hand it over to Russ to talk about what's new in Patch and Remediation 7.2.
Thanks, Chris. With the release of LEMSS 7.2, Patch and Remediation customers now have access to expanded non-security Microsoft Windows content. In order to accommodate this release, Lumention created a new content framework for generating and releasing vulnerability remediation content on Windows. This provides benefits such as support for content uninstall when supported by Microsoft, and the automated superseding and aging of content. This also means that Windows security content will be available within hours after Microsoft makes the content available via Windows Update. Finally, this new content framework provides for a more optimized delivery with better detections and optimized wide area network distribution. Now, if we take a look at the complete catalog of Microsoft Windows content, it roughly breaks down to about 60% security content and 40% non-security content. This non-security content is the area that's targeted with the release of Patch and Remediation 7.2. In aggregate, we're releasing over 1,000 new Windows bulletins in LPR 7.2. Now let's take a quick look at how this appears in the LEMSS console. So here I have the LEMSS Patch and Remediation 7.2, and I'm going to go ahead and navigate to the vulnerabilities page. So now I'm going to do a quick search for Dynamics CRM. This is going to bring up a long list of previously unsupported content. Now this is all showing as with a content type of recommended, so this is non-security content. And we'll go ahead and just expand one of these patches. And this is, again, one of the new patches that's available within LEMSS 7.2. So this expanded content release really represents a large under-the-hood release and is yet another proof point that Lumention is the leader in vulnerability remediation. Back to you, Chris.
Thanks, Russ. Okay, so there you have it. A quick look at some of the new features and capabilities in LEMSS 7.2. David showed us some of the main application control and antivirus enhancements which, when taken together, really improve the security of endpoints without impacting end-user productivity or IT burden. Russ discussed the expansion of patch content and how the time and effort spent on remediation has been optimized. So now we invite you to join the beta program for this latest release of the Lumention Endpoint Management and Security Suite. Simply go to the beta sign-up page on our website and we'll get you going. And don't forget, with this beta, you'll be able to test out all the modules and capabilities within LEMSS, even the ones you don't currently own. Of course, we have much more information about LEMSS on our website, and we also invite you to visit our new informational page, Predictable Security in an Unpredictable World, where you can download white papers and watch other videos to learn more about how to improve your endpoint security while reducing disruptions and costs. Thank you.